Once again, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for battling our dreary weather outside to be with us today. I am Stacy Smith, class of 2004, and president of the San Antonio Alumni Chapter. On behalf of the San Antonio Alumni Chapter and the National Alumni Board, it is my pleasure to welcome you to our luncheon honoring the 2014-2015 Trinity University Outstanding Young Alumna. Today, we proudly recognize one of our 26,000 alumni, Ms. Rebecca Avitia, class of 2003. Currently, she is the Executive Director of the National Hispanic Cultural Center. Previously, Rebecca was President of the New Mexico Hispanic Bar Association and Chair of the New Mexico Health Law Section, as well as having held various leadership roles in the American Bar Association's Health Law Section. As a shareholder in her law firm, Rebecca was named among Albuquerque's 40 Under 40, a Southwest Rising Star, and a top-rated attorney, and AV rated by Martindale. Since being appointed as Executive Director of the NHCC, Rebecca has also been named one of Albuquerque's top CEOs. Today, Rebecca Avitia is the 12th graduate of Trinity to receive the prestigious Outstanding Young Alumna Award. This award was established to honor Trinity alumni who have graduated in the past 15 years. We select alumni who have distinguished themselves in their profession and in the service to the community, setting a standard of excellence worthy of recognition by the Alumni Association and the university. We are especially proud to be able to claim Ms. Avitia as an alumna of this institution. You will hear more about her impressive work during our program. At this time, I would like to ask Reverend Stephen Nickel, Trinity's chaplain, to give the invocation, followed by lunch, and then we'll return to our program.
As we gather today to not only celebrate Rebecca, but to celebrate what she inspires in all of us, let us lift up joyful hearts. Let us pray. Merciful God, you plant within us seeds of bold hope, which blossom and bear the fruit of empathy, passionate creativity, and diligence. You transform us into agents of your grace and stewards of the beauty of your creation. We celebrate that transformation today, Lord. We celebrate the passion and excellence and renewing vision of your servant Rebecca, one of Trinity's own. We lift up thanks for her and the path she has journeyed thus far. May her example be for us all a challenge and an inspiration. May her example cultivate the bold hope planted within each of us, that the particular calling that claims each of us might bear good, wholesome fruit, through which the world's hunger might be fed. Now bless this food and our fellowship, we pray, that we might be encouraged by both. Amen.
I hope everybody enjoyed their lunch. Again, we are pleased that you have joined us to recognize Trinity's outstanding young alumna, and we are delighted to see so many students in attendance. We hope that you will be inspired by Rebecca's work and accomplishments as you become Trinity alumni and do amazing things yourselves. Before we begin the program, I'd like to take a moment to recognize the special guests with us. At the head table, Trinity's president, Dr. Dennis A. Alberg, our honoree, Rebecca Loubriel Avitia, and her husband, Jorge Avitia. Her children, Ovelia and Eliseo. Vice President for Alumni Relations and Development, Lisa Baronio. Reverend Stephen Nickel and his wife, Catherine Morell Nickel. Dr. Cheryl Tynes, Associate Vice President for Academic Affairs and Professor of Sociology. And I would also like to recognize the previous Spirit of Trinity awardee, Glenna McCord, class of 1947. And Raymond Judd, class of 1956, previous Distinguished Alumnus awardee. And now it is my privilege to introduce the president of Trinity University. Dr. Alberg became the 18th president of Trinity University in 2010. A native of Australia, he received his bachelor's in economics with first-class honors from the University of Sydney, a master's in economics from the Australian National University, and a PhD in economics from the University of Pennsylvania. Dr. Alberg's journey to Trinity includes a distinguished record of research and teaching, and an impressive career as a transformational academic administrator. He is married to Penelope Harley, an attorney specializing in alternative dispute resolution and restorative justice, and they are parents to Benjamin. Please welcome President Dennis Alberg.
Thank you very much. Fiction writing is a wonderful thing for introductions. So it is an honor this afternoon to have the opportunity to hear about Rebecca's time at Trinity and her successful career path after graduation, and it is indeed very impressive and quite extraordinary. And as you can see, she has been able to balance career success with having a wonderful family and a wonderful family life. So I think that there are two stories that she needs to share with us. I'd like to introduce Dr. Cheryl Tynes, who may be familiar to some of the people in the room. Cheryl tried to delay Rebecca's graduation, but was unsuccessful in doing so by being a good advisor. And usually a good advisor speeds up the graduation process, but in this case, it was wise to slow it down. So, as you know, Cheryl began her career here at Trinity in 1988. Soon we will stop mentioning that date, but still it's a good year, 1988, as a faculty member in the Department of Sociology and Anthropology. In 2003, she was demoted and joined the Office of Academic Affairs and Associate Vice President, working on student academic issues. She continues in that role today and loves working with Trinity students, and I love working with Cheryl. She is so dedicated to the success of our students, and that's what people like Cheryl are what makes this such a special place, and I think gives students like Rebecca such a great start in the academic world, which is often not all that friendly. So Cheryl still teaches, she still does research, and her areas are social security, which is near and dear to the heart of several people in this room who will soon be drawing such. She's also interested in child welfare and other social justice issues, and she particularly enjoys working with first-generation students and Pell Grant students. So it is my great pleasure to welcome Cheryl to the podium.
I am sincerely honored to introduce and share a story of inspiration about a young woman, and there's a kitten in my story. Let me start with inspiration. Spire is Latin for to breathe or to have a longing for, and includes such words as inspire, aspire, transpire. Webster's Unabridged Dictionary defines inspiration as breathing into, to infuse, move, influence, or guide, to have an animating, enlivening, exalting effect, to encourage, impel, and motivate. End of Webster's. As a college professor for 31 years with thousands of students, I'm often inspired by students. They make me laugh, remind me to breathe, and helped me to become a better human being. And none more so than Becca Loubriel. And by the way, that's how I've always known her, is Becca. You've read and heard about her accomplishments post-Trinity, but the story I'm about to tell you probably is a little less well known. She began her career as a Trinity student at 17 years of age. I wanted to warn her that we do still have a photo in our system that was taken that hot August day when you first began your career at Trinity. And Mr. Rodriguez can confirm, it's so cute. You are so cute. And you look like you're about 5. So I was thinking that we could blackmail her, and then I thought, well, wait a minute, she's an attorney, maybe not. She was lured into sociology by a terrific first-year seminar taught by Dr. Meredith McGuire and an introductory class by Michael Curl. I got to know Becca her sophomore year in my childhood and youth class. What a treat. She knocked it out of the park in every way. And I was privileged to serve as her academic advisor, where she worked with me also on my research in the San Antonio housing projects. During Becca's junior year, she took the highly anticipated social statistics class with me. And you all know that sociologists love math. Becca's junior year was also the year that she served as Trinity's student government president. It was pretty unusual for a junior to serve in this role. Beautiful fall semester, 2001. I love fall semester. It's my favorite semester. It's very full of hope and energy and promise. On the morning of September 11th, 2001, at 7:45 a.m., I walked my own first grade daughter to her classroom. My third grade son was in tow. He was used to the routine. She got to go first. She was little. I later took him to his classroom, and his teacher asked me if I had heard about the plane crash in New York City. I had no idea what she was talking about, but I turned on my car radio as I drove to Trinity. The early news indicated that a plane had hit the North Tower of the World Trade Center, but I was picturing a small private airplane. By the time I got to my office, Mike Curl was on the internet. Any of you who know Dr. Curl, he's always on the internet, and he loves microcase. Fear was fueled by discussions about another plane that had allegedly attacked the Pentagon and something about a plane crash in Pennsylvania. Like most of us early that morning, I was wondering if there was anywhere safe. Our class, social statistics, was in a fancy new classroom with 33 computers. Students in that class could work on their own. I could pull up what they were working in front of all of the students. I could lock them out. I could look at what they were looking at. It was awesome. On that scary September 11th morning, this was a 9:55 class, being the taskmaster that my students know me to be, I decided that we would have class. I locked them from internet access. Honestly, I was petrified, scared, and confused. Becca was in that class. Like the recently completed One World Trade Center in New York City, and like another phoenix from the ashes, came Becca and her classmates post-September 11th. I've never been more proud or inspired by Trinity students. After an amazing interdenominational service in the Trinity Chapel, our students, under Becca's quiet and wise leadership, organized a teach-in Laurie Auditorium. Several Trinity faculty, experts on the history, politics, geography, and religions of the Middle East, spoke to and educated this campus. Led by Becca, our students organized a blood drive, they raised money, they made blue ribbons, and they reached out to our vulnerable first-year students, many of them international students. Envision for a moment that you are in your first year of college, trying to make your way Only days into the fall semester, and September 11th happens. Beck and her classmates walked side by side with these vulnerable first years and led the way through the sadness for all of us. Our students did all of this while carrying the rigorous Trinity academic load. I wondered, where do they find the time to juggle such loads? And where do they find the maturity to cope? We all came through this, a much stronger community, thanks to Becca. And lastly, you may be wondering about the kitten. You read on the invitation, perhaps, that Becca has 2 beautiful children, along with sheep, goats, chickens, and dogs. She has no kittens, but I highly recommend that she consider adding these to her menagerie. In July of 2001, so a couple months before September 11th, my daughter turned 7 years old. We were on family vacation in my home state of Montana, and my daughter fell in love with this tortoiseshell kitten that summer. She was the offspring of 2 wild barn cats. How could we say no to such a fond birthday present? We drove the 2,000 miles back to San Antonio with that runt of the litter, kitten, sleeping on the dash mat of our car. At a total weight of 6 pounds, and still feisty today, that playful, hilarious kitten in September of 2001 kept me smiling. That kitten and breathtaking, no breath-giving and inspiring Becca. Becca, please join Dr. Alberg and me at the podium.
Thanks, Cheryl. It's quite a remarkable story. And if you need any advice on how to say no to a cat, just ask. So, Becca, it is our honor on behalf of the university, my honor on behalf of the university and the Alumni Association to present you with the Outstanding Young Alumna Award. And it is truly, truly deserved. Cheryl has mentioned some of the things that Becca did while she was at Trinity. I heard a little bit at lunch about some of the many things that she has done since then. And I kept wondering whether there was a misprint on the young part. Not the way you look, but what you have done in the short time that she has been away from Trinity. I just note that there are some constants in the world, and one of them is the way our students and faculty and staff care about this world. And tomorrow there's a teach-in from 12:30 to 2:30 on the violence in Mexico. So again, something that marks Trinity out is caring for our students and caring for this world. So I'm really pleased, Cheryl, to hear that story. So, this is the part I always forget. So Becca, the 2014 Outstanding Young Alumna Award for, and I quote, for the leadership exhibited as an undergraduate, where she served as student body president and as president of the Latino Law Student Coalition at Columbia University, for establishing a distinguished legal career, for tirelessly promoting Hispanic culture as executive director of the National Hispanic Cultural Center, for wholehearted engagement with the Albuquerque community through board service in West, a micro-lender and business incubator targeted to women entrepreneurs, the Historic Bridge Main Street Project and the Hispano Philanthropic Society within the United Way of New Mexico, and for the honor and distinction she brings to her alma mater. A few years we would have needed a much larger. So, while we can, congratulations.
And Anthea Lou has some gifts for your kids, so if you want to take those back, we have a little gift for them as well. So.
Thank you. So thank you, Dr. Tynes, and all of you here in the audience, but especially the Trinity Alumni Association and National Alumni Board and University. This award means so incredibly much to me, but really because Trinity means so incredibly much to me. As we drove onto campus yesterday, I was flooded with fondness for this place. The memories came really quickly and were really heartwarming. I was looking at two students who were just standing in the parking lot, but I found myself smiling the way my mom used to smile when she would visit me at Trinity, with this like knowing, happy smile because of how amazing this place was and is for the students. And then I also remembered that I used to scold her for that smile, and I had a rush of guilt. But she was right, and really I couldn't wipe that smile from my face, so I rewrote everything that I'm going to say to you. From being greeted by the Team Trinity on move-in day, and immediately knowing that I was in exactly the right place, as our car was completely unloaded in 3 hours by this amazing group of people that included my future teachers and administrators and peers. To joining Alpha Chi on bid day and all of a sudden having my blood bleed a little bit more purple. To really the meat of the college experience, which was the classes. My brain stretched here considerably. From Dr. Norman's aesthetics and feminism classes and Dr. Becker's body image study, working with all of the amazing professors I worked with on the curriculum committee, to Dr. McGuire and Dr. Michael Fisher and the first year seminar courses I either took with them or helped and assist in their teaching of them, to every single class in the sociology department, absolutely every single one. And most importantly for me, as I think back on it, the time that I spent with Dr. Tynes and Dr. Gentry. Dr. Gentry, who insisted that I actually use my brain fully and stop trying to get away with tricks like last minute writing of papers, to Dr. Tynes, who encouraged me to keep thinking with my heart too, which was an important lesson to learn. And then finally to what was a completely unexpected surprise at Trinity, which was the amazing relationships I had with the administrators here. I learned how to lead from these administrators and from these professors. And as I think about the administrators that probably most impacted me, the two that so clearly come to mind, and I draw on their examples all the time, are Dr. Gage Payne, who taught me to ask for input always and first, not after. And second, Mr. Tuttle, who expected me to be an adult and in the process taught me how to be one. As I've reflected on my fondness for Trinity over the years, I've come to accept that there's something incredibly special about this place. It's really magical. And here's what I have decided this special sauce is. Trinity provides a safe place for students to learn, like many universities might. But it also provides a safe place for students to learn the skills of leadership and invites them to take those leadership roles. The reality is that outside of this campus, leadership is an extraordinarily risky endeavor. Leaders are lonely, the first to fall and the easiest to blame. Their entire day is made up of making decisions, and they are always on. They get no downtime. And worst of all, when they make a mistake, it's incredibly uncomfortable and sometimes painful because the world holds very real consequences for bad decisions. But on this campus, the paradigm shifts for just this brief moment in time for students. At Trinity, a whole safety net exists for students, with the professors, with the staff, and with the students. That shift allows students and me, when I was here, to learn how to make decisions and not have to feel the pain quite so deeply of a wrong decision. In sum, Trinity encourages students to see a failure as a moment in a journey and not the conclusion to the story. I think about when I was president of the student body, my junior year, and the wrong decisions I made, and there were plenty of wrong decisions. But because I had the opportunity to make those wrong decisions here in a safe place, I was able to learn how to lead well, how to avoid bad decisions next time by gathering more information first, or removing my emotions from the calculation, or learning to listen to people's hearts just as much as their words. I was able to learn how to lead through failure because I always had the helping hand of those around me. All of that because I wasn't left licking my wounds from a failure or the sting of a wrong decision. I was safe despite my mistakes because I was at Trinity. And since leaving Trinity, I have seen so many people give leadership a go. And then when they make a wrong decision, which every leader will make a wrong decision, and probably tons of them, but when that moment happens for somebody outside of the safety net of a place like Trinity, half of them never give it another go because it's so painful. And then the other half are often tempted to be a bit timid in their leadership. And timid leaders are not fun for anyone, the leader or the led, because they're paralyzed by risk and by the potential of making a wrong decision. And quintessentially, that's what leadership is. Those who learn to lead at Trinity, though, are completely set apart. We were privileged to learn to lead, surrounded by Trinity professors, administrators, and students in a way that is fearless, that allows us to stare down a risky decision, make the call, and then lead our team through whatever that decision bears out. And I do believe with my whole heart that having had the opportunity to learn the skill of leadership in this safe Trinity environment is why you are looking at me and reading my bio. And all of it, I am oftentimes the youngest or the first Latina, and still only 32. And then I think about Malcolm Gladwell's book, Outliers. So I did learn something from statistics. He posited that to truly master a skill, a person has to spend 10,000 hours at it. So oftentimes they have to start younger and in the right environment, an environment that encourages whatever those skills are rather than discourages it. I believe that at Trinity, leaders are bred because Trinity gives students the opportunity to start their 10,000 hours earlier and safer than at another college. It bears out with my story. When I took over as executive director of the National Hispanic Cultural Center, despite the title, it was in quite a mess. We hadn't had a director for 3 years because most people didn't want the position. Every story in the newspaper was a negative one. And our attendance was down. And in an institution like a cultural center, attendance is how you judge whether it's succeeding. And we were so down that we were 40% under whatever we were the last year, which was also 40% under the year before. And so our trajectory was dismal. And so to many, that might have been terrifying. And frankly, most people, there were more people that thought I was crazy for taking the job than people who thought I could do it. But the reality was that when I arrived there, it wasn't new. It wasn't my first go. I had seen infighting. I had seen low attendance. I had seen these issues before. And because I had tried things out here or watched administrators and the faculty and the students try things out in college, it felt comfortable to me, and I immediately had a leg up. And I do believe that it's because I started my 10,000 hours here that I was able, in the last 9 months, to close the gap entirely. We are now equal or higher in our attendance. We have 2 stories in the newspaper every week, and they've all been positive. That is only because I've been able to master a skill by beginning here. I say all of this because while I'm incredibly proud of all that has been achieved at the Cultural Center this year, and even more honored in receiving this award, it isn't really my success or my award. It's ours. So although unmentioned this far, it is also my husband's, who's back there playing with the kids. Because it is only through his support that I can work the crazy hours I work or get up at this podium and speak. It's only because he stays up with me until midnight and goes through all of my decisions and sometimes points out when I become that boss and deserve an apology. Somebody deserves an apology. It's also my sisters who actually watches my daughter during the day and picks up my son from school and ensures that they're being taken care of by somebody I trust more than anyone else in the world. It is also my children's for keeping me particularly humble with surprise snowballs in the winter and food smeared on my shirt right before really important meetings. And my mother's, because she instilled such gumption and hunger in me to change the world that much of my own path seems a bit preordained by her upbringing of me. But most importantly, I want to tell you that this award is equally yours. Those of you who were here when I was here and those of you who weren't. The faculties, the administrations, and the students. My 10,000 hours started here. You taught me how to lead. And, maybe more importantly, you taught me how to fail so that I could get back up and lead again. So thank you very much for preparing me to be a leader, and even more for this award. I am eternally indebted and incredibly appreciative. Thank you.
So again, thank you for joining us today on this special occasion to recognize one of the Alumni Association's finest. We are proud to claim Ms. Rebecca Avitia as our own and to honor her today. I want to thank our National Alumni Board's Alumni Awards Committee. It's a mouthful. Trinity has a tremendous pool of talented alumni with qualifications to make them worthy of consideration for these awards. We thank all of those who took the time to submit nominations for this year, and we encourage everyone to continue to provide us with nominations in the coming years. I hope the students with us today will use the incredible opportunities that a Trinity education will afford you. No matter what college she attended, Rebecca Avitia was destined to do something important with her life. Yet a Trinity education prepared her for success like no other. Rebecca, again, congratulations. On behalf of the National Alumni Board and Trinity University, I extend to all of you our best wishes for a happy and safe holiday season. This concludes our program, and again, thank you for being with us.